He looks like a goddess, but he is a guy. Suddenly, click. She caught him. He expected hell, but she fell in love. There are a million ways to worship your 2D obsessions. You can go broke collecting plastic merch, draw questionable fan art, or rewrite reality with your own fan fiction. But for this guy, his method involves a lot more internal crying. The morning news is pumping straight propaganda. They claim ditching Tokyo for the boonies is a spiritual awakening. Minoru isn't buying it. He got dragged here against his will, and he is barely hiding the resentment from his mom. He heads to school trying to gaslight himself into enjoying the fresh air. If you have the basics, you shouldn't complain, right? Wrong. The school is already screaming. The normies are having a meltdown because their favorite band won't tour this far out in the sticks. Minoru feels their pain, but he is already retired from the concert life. He walks into class, ready for another day of being invisible, until he spots a crisis. The class queen Shibuya has turned his desk into her personal throne. He is officially homeless. He takes a second to analyze the threat. She is a genius, a model, and completely out of his league. He isn't in love though, he is just jealous of her stats. He works up the nerve to interrupt the fan service. He awkwardly points out she is sitting on his property and she actually apologizes. But the peanut gallery won't let it slide. They accuse him of using the desk as an excuse to simp. Minoru is about to throw hands internally. Surprisingly, Shibuya shuts them down. She remembers his name and clears his record. She knows he is just a guy who wants his chair back. Then the teacher drops the worst possible news. Seat change. Minoru realizes he missed his chance to chat, and honestly, he was kinda staring. But it isn't romance. He is just obsessed with high-tier character design. Because in this boring world, judging looks is his only real hobby. He creeps into the English club room like a criminal mastermind. He scans the hallway for any potential snitches. He clicks the lock, sealing himself inside. He takes a deep breath, finally safe from the normies. He turned this abandoned classroom into a private otaku paradise. Since the club members are ghosts, he owns the turf. He cracks open the supply closet for the goods and retrieves the tactical battle gear. For Minoru, aesthetics aren't a game, they are absolute. It's about the art of the perfect disguise. He layers on the foundation and preps the lashes because his secret hobby is becoming the waifu, but he frowns, realizing the eyeliner is totally mid. Minoru's obsession started with Rose Maiden. When Maria Shirokane appeared, it wasn't just a show. She looked him in the eye and claimed his soul. The episode ended and the monitor went dark. He was left face down on his bed, absolutely down bad. He screamed at the ceiling because the show was a masterpiece. The animation was crisp and the voice acting was perfect. He realized the godly artists were about to drop some top-tier fan art. 3 days later, nothing. He scoured the art sites, but the search bar came up empty. He refused to believe it, smashing his keyboard to find a new platform. That's when he saw it. A cosplay photo that made his heart skip a beat. He stood there with his jaw on the floor. It was like the 2D world had punched through into 3D. The caption encouraged him to show his love, one photo at a time. Wait, is that cosplayer a dude? Minoru's brain short-circuited. If he can do it, so can I. He smashed enter on how to cosplay. He bought the wig and the dress, timing the delivery like a ninja so his parents wouldn't catch him. He snuck the box inside, ready to transform. Then came the fitting. The wig was a flea market disaster, and the dress sounded like a bag of chips. He skipped the makeup but forgot one detail. His leg hair poked through his mom's tights like a cactus. Reality hits hard. Minoru realized he wasn't just visiting, he was diving headfirst into the bottomless cosplay swamp. He was doom-scrolling for research when a specific post caught his eye. That update hit him like a total jump scare. He tried to distract himself with eye makeup tutorials and fan art. But Ms. Nina breached the perimeter without a warning. She cheered and said she loved his whole lurking in the shadows vibe. He screamed at her to learn how to read the sign. She played the club advisor card to bypass the rules and he folded instantly. Then she switched gears and started absolutely simping over his Rose Maiden cosplay. She threatened to publish his embarrassing journey as a doujin, and he went into full panic mode. He remembered the graveyard of failed wigs he bought just to get the color right, and the mountain of cash he burned on makeup just to hide his guy face. She analyzed his choice of tights with forensic precision. Then she leaned in and stared right into his soul. She asked the forbidden question, "How much did this cost?" He groaned in agony. She cracked up and told him to relax because the look was finally perfect. But then she pressed him on the big debut and he froze. He confessed he stayed home, and she absolutely lost her mind. She yelled at him to stop hoarding his cuteness inside the club room. She insisted he could actually make some real friends out there. Minoru started to feel a genuine spark of hope until her actual job came knocking at the door to ruin the vibe. Nina locks up and leaves, finally. Minoru is safe in his fortress of solitude, hidden from his parents and the haters. Our boy has zero social stats. No friends, just trauma from being picked last for soccer.
He has a secret weapon though.
He logs into his alter ego account, Aki, and throws a Hail Mary into the void, begging for cosplay buddies. He barely has time to hope for a senpai to notice him when a notification hits instantly. It's not a fan. It's a hater. "Your cosplay is trash. Stop being ugly." That first comment hits him like a truck, straight to the ego. He realizes he will never be normal. Instead of quitting, he slaps himself awake. He vows to get rich and build his own studio. First, he has to finish the shoot. He poses. Click. Wait. He didn't press the button. That sound came from somewhere else. His soul leaves his body. He spots a figure through the glass. A girl is watching him. He spins around. It's a student. She has her phone out, and she definitely just caught him in 4K. He freezes in pure horror. She freezes too, totally busted. Minoru doesn't wait for an explanation. He hits the jets. She tries to call out, but he is already gone. She chases him down the hall, shouting for him to stop. He drifts around the corner like a pro. She loses the trail. Minoru locks himself in a stall, hyperventilating. He knows her. That was Shibuya from his class. Game over. He is freaking out. Convinced she has blackmail material, Shibuya isn't laughing though. She stares at the photo like it is a treasure. She didn't see a freak. She found a masterpiece. Last time, Akiba got caught lacking in 4K resolution. Shibuya kicked down the door and snapped a picture of his secret cosplay before he could even react. He instantly goes into full panic mode. He screams at the ceiling, wondering why she had to document his shame. Paranoia sets in. His anxious brain jumps straight to blackmail. He imagines her growing devil horns, demanding all his lunch money to keep the photos off the internet. Now he is hiding in the boys' bathroom, pacing like a caged animal. He wants to skip class, but he knows vanishing now just makes him look way more suspicious. The pressure cracks him like an egg, and he loses his mind. He looks up at the sky, begging the universe for a time machine to undo this disaster. The next morning, he dragged his exhausted body to school. He was running on zero sleep and pure panic. Ms. Nina begged for forgiveness for leaving the door unlocked, but the damage was done. Someone saw his face and absolutely roasted the downgrade. In the hallway, the paranoia kicked in. He heard girls whispering about mistaken identities and almost self-deleted, thinking he was totally busted. But then, his brain finally rebooted. The photo was of Maria. In full cosplay, he looks like a different species. No one would connect that top-tier waifu to this guy, but reality hits fast. Shibuya corners him instantly, flashing the screen and demanding a name for the mystery girl. His heart stops. He stares at the phone, sweating bullets. He chokes out a desperate denial. To his surprise, she doesn't press him. She just accepts the lie and dips. She reports back to the gossip squad. Since the uniform looks foreign, they decide the trail is cold. Akiba collapses into his chair, thanking the anime gods for his plot armor. But deep down, he knows this was way too easy. Akiba is spiraling. He is convinced this ends with him getting blackmailed and sent to the lobby in the town square. He tries to ghost the club, but Nina screams his name before he can even move. She is absolutely losing her mind over a lost Pokemon toy. She accuses Shibuya because her grandpa said so, while Akiba begs them to chill. Akiba sees an opening and attempts a tactical retreat, but a hand snags his vest, stopping him cold. It's Shibuya, and he wants answers right now. He backs Akiba into a corner, grilling him about the club's secret phantom members. Akiba plays dumb, sweating bullets because he knows he is officially a suspect. The teacher walks in, saving Akiba from getting absolutely cooked. He scrambles to his seat, thanking the anime gods for the save. Shibuya isn't letting him off the hook. She stares daggers into his soul, whispering that his sweat levels are looking mighty suspicious. She presses the attack, demanding to know what dirty little secrets he's hiding behind that mask. While he sweats bullets, the rest of the campus is busy shooting hoops. 5th period PE is absolute torture. Akiba is rocking that last pick status, hiding in the corner just to survive the cringe. But she is plotting something. While the normies are busy sweating over a basketball, she finally spots her opening. She knows she has to deal with her. Paranoia eats him alive. He feels Shibuya's eyes burning a hole in the back of his head. He frantically texts Ms. Nina, bribing her with a rare Pokemon just to keep his secret safe. Even with the teacher silenced, Shibuya refuses to break visual contact. She knows something is up. Lunchtime hits, and she goes on the offensive. She slams his desk, demanding to know why the club room is on lockdown. She leans in close, accusing him of hiding a girl in there. Akiba sweats bullets, screaming that he has absolutely no idea what she is talking about. She sighs, deciding it is not worth the hassle, and turns to walk away. Akiba thinks he is in the clear. Then she drops the nuke. If he will not unlock it, she will just break the door down herself. That triggers the panic button. He screams at her to stop before she commits a felony. Here's the real problem. His entire life, wigs, makeup, and costumes, is stuffed into that single locker. If she busts in, his secret identity is toast. He cannot cosplay. With her watching like a hawk, he cannot smuggle the goods out. He is completely trapped. The worst part? He has zero friends to help him pull off a heist. Just sad vibes all around. Akiba nearly had a heart attack when Shibuya spawned right next to him. She smirked and roasted him for the dodge, but accepted his sweaty apology with a casual wave. That sharp look in her eye said she was analyzing every pixel of his reaction. Then she broke the touch barrier, poking his thigh to test the merchandise. He scrambled back like a scared cat, but she just complimented his skincare routine. She pointed out that he took way too much care of his legs for a regular dude. She grinned, dropping the heavy hint that his bare legs looked exactly like a girl's. Akiba froze. This was it. She definitely knew about the cross-dressing photo. He screamed a total lie, claiming he was born this way just to get her off his back. She breezed past the awkwardness, deciding she was invading the club room today. When he tried to gatekeep her, she pulled the ultimate power move. She would just join the club. He asked why she was obsessing over him, but she let the question hang in the air. She got uncomfortably real, asking if he had ever crushed so hard he lost control. He panicked. Aside from his 2D idol waifus, not a chance. She laughed it off, but the vibe shifted instantly. She warned him he wouldn't get it, but she had to say it. She curled up in the corner, face burning red. Then she confessed. She is in love with someone. Akiba froze, trying to process the sudden intel. The embarrassment hit her like a freight train. She yelled that was it, and promised to explain after school, then dashed out the door before he could even react. Left alone, his brain went into overdrive. Wait! Shibuya plus love equals, he gasped. Was this the legendary Yuri route opening up? Akiba takes a breath and tries to calculate just how screwed he is. The math is simple but fatal. Shibuya is crushing on Maria, but Maria is literally just him in a wig. Panic sets in as she leans close, almost dropping his real name. She breezes past the tension and invites him straight to the club room. A tiny, awkward silence hangs in the air. He panics. He can't let her in there, so he lies and claims it's closed forever. She looks absolutely devastated that her plans are toast. He hits her with a soft apology to try and fix it. Then he gets serious. She needs to give up the search right now. It hurts to say, but he can't let anyone find out the truth. He waits for the explosion, staying dead silent. But her reaction is weirdly quiet, which freaks him out even more. Then she screams his name, tears streaming down her face. She tackles him, swearing on her life she'll play nice with the mystery girl. Then she instantly recovers and drags him along anyway. She drags him over to the campus vending machines. She knows he is broken saving for Tokyo, so she offers to sponsor a drink. Minoru tries to decline, desperate to keep his dignity intact, but she flexes her part-time job cash and insists on paying. He realizes he completely misjudged her financial situation. There is just one problem. The machine is a disaster zone. Everything is sold out, except for tonkotsu ramen cedar. She hands him the liquid pork soda. It is absolutely cursed. They parked on the bench and Shibuya raised that cursed pork soda for a toast. Minoru hesitated, but she bullied him into some forced positivity. Minoru still couldn't believe this was real. He was actually chilling with Shibuya, even if the drink tasted like straight-up liquid regret. They agreed to drop the detective work on the mystery lady. Shibuya didn't care, she was just hyped to finally be hanging out. Then she made a dangerous assumption. She labeled him a Rose Maiden fan, and Minoru nearly choked. She asked if he knew the Godly series, and he admitted he was a total normie. Shibuya looked at him like he just committed a war crime. Minoru realized he was in danger. She unleashed a rapid-fire lecture on the animation quality and the openings. She promised to bring him the game and the console tomorrow, speaking at Mach 5 speed. She finally gasped for air. She apologized for the nerd out, claiming she was just too relaxed around him. She knew he liked manga, so they were basically twins. She even admitted she tried to telepathically beam that friendship request into his brain during math class. Minoru realized she wasn't staring. She was buffering. Shibuya shoved the phone in his face, hyping up her latest obsession. She stared him down with absolutely zero chill. She called meeting a fan like this actual destiny, but she admitted her search for the girl was a total bust. Akiba flinched. Sweat instantly beaded on his forehead. His hand crushed the plastic bottle in a death grip. He tried to speak but choked on his own panic. His heart hammered against his ribs like a war drum. The vibe shifted. The word pervert hung in the air. He froze solid, waiting for the social execution. He strangled that bottle like it owed him money. He refused to let the secret slip. If she knew the truth, it was game over. He could already see the nasty comments flooding his timeline. But Shibuya just sat there, roasting herself for being a creep. The silence between them was loud enough to break glass. She begged for forgiveness. Admitted she kept his photo as a reward. He admitted he puts in maximum effort for zero clout. Shibuya suddenly snapped back to reality. Shibuya dropped the proposal, a geek alliance, since nobody else in this school understood them. Akiba stuttered, confused why she picked him. She just vibrated with sparkle energy, waiting for the yes. She claimed their meeting was destiny. If her show got big, she needed a partner in crime. Akiba smiled. Her optimism was totally on brand. Even if the grind would take forever, she told him to be brave and dive in. The best world was waiting. That hit him different. He swore right there to stop hesitating. Then she had a brain blast. She dug out a souvenir meant for a canceled meetup. She grabbed his arm before he could protest and locked a matching bracelet onto his wrist. It was rare fan merch, matching colors and everything. Minoru had to physically crush his face to hide the massive grin. She just thanked him for listening. He went quiet, staring at the ground, but the vibe wasn't awkward. She felt it too. He promised that eventually, he'd spill his own backstory. She called his name with a soft smile. She told him to take it slow, then immediately pivoted to showing him her PowerPoint presentation. He couldn't process the reality. An otaku friend was actually happening. The trauma was still there, but backup had arrived, in the form of a flashy, obsession-driven weirdo. Shibuya kicks down the door to the English club. Hostile takeover initiated. Minoru is sweating bullets knowing his secret identity is at risk, but he can't say no to his first real otaku friend. Miss Nina suggests he just come clean, but Minoru prefers living in the shadows. Shibuya immediately sniffs out the loot. She finds the most suspicious, cursed-looking locker in existence. Spoiler alert. It is full of their contraband. Minoru tries to scare her off with a bogus curse story. But Miss Nina has zero chill and bails for an online meeting, leaving the two teenagers alone in a soundproof room. What could go wrong? Shibuya immediately calls his bluff. Nobody actually studies in the English club. She drops the bomb. She is a cosplayer. Minoru plays the NPC role, claiming he just reads manga and plays games solo. She gets right in his face, offended that he was holding out on her for this long. Friendship unlocked. She is vibrating with excitement about finally having a geek partner to drag into the abyss. She slams down the entire Rose Maiden collection. DVDs, spin-offs, games. It is a hostage situation now. They boot up the club PC, but Shibuya hits the brakes. No anime marathon happens without fuel. Minoru reveals the teacher's secret stash. It is basically a convenience store. As he sets up the chips, a wave of nostalgia hits him. He remembers his only elementary school friend who moved away, leaving him in solitary confinement for years. But now, with Shibuya hyping up the screening, the loneliness starts to fade. He realizes watching anime with a player too is actually fun. The credits roll. Shibuya is absolutely wrecked, crying buckets. Minoru agrees it is a masterpiece of human culture. She starts rambling about fan benefits, then pauses. She catches him using the deep lore ship named Marihiro. Minoru screams internally. He panic lies, claiming he researched it after she mentioned it. He knows it is a terrible excuse. He braces for impact. But she buys it. Hook, line, and sinker. Mission passed. She grabs him, demanding his favorite ship. Minoru just nods along, sweating through his mask. She heads out to grab drinks, leaving him to hyperventilate. He needs to keep his story straight. Minoru tries to slow his heart rate while the door clicks shut. Alone in the hall, Shibuya smiles. She finally feels safe. She stares at a photo on her phone. Maybe it is time to show him who she really is. 1 week later, the club was a ghost town. Shibuya was still obsessing over that mystery girl. Was it fate or just bad RNG? She spotted a wild loot drop on the floor. Holy Grail alert. It was ultra limited, high-tier premier merch. Minoru snatched it back. Instant regret. He just outed his power level. He stammered out the classic weak excuse about holding it for a friend. He hit the dash before she could ask questions. Shibuya didn't chase. He was acting way too sus to be innocent. Walking away, she realized her obsession was the only reason they were even friends. Light bulb moment. She knew exactly what to do. She cornered him with a brand new scheme. She whipped out a borrowed sailor uniform and dropped a galaxy brain idea. If they can't find the perfect girl, they just have to build her from scratch. Akiba's brain short-circuited. He knew exactly where this was going. He launched a desperate defense, firing off a machine gun of rejections, but she steamrolled right over his panic. Then she dropped the nuke. She didn't want a model. She wanted him. She got right in his grill, screaming that his bone structure was literal divine intervention. She claimed he must have saved a country in a past life to score a mug that pretty, while calling herself a total goblin in comparison. It was the ultimate gaslight. Obviously, he was the best girl for the job. Akiba snapped, screaming that she was the one who looked like a literal dream. He tried to deflect the crazy with even crazier praise. The reverse compliment hit her like a flashbang, leaving her totally stunned. She stuttered out a furious rejection, waving her hands around like a maniac. She spun on her heel to escape the awkwardness and backed straight into a loose metal rack. She didn't even notice the ominous wobble behind her. Akiba screamed a warning as it came crashing down. The locked gate rattled violently, straining the rusty chains. Shibuya flinched. She was terrified to look, but forced one eye open. Akiba just hissed in pain. He used his body as a human shield. Ignoring the damage, he frantically checked if she was okay. Akiba hit the floor begging for mercy because he lost his cool. Shibuya tried to act chill, but her brain was frying. This was pure otome game culture. She scrambled to pivot, telling him he would actually make a god-tier cosplayer. A loose handcuff rattled on the floor. Maximum awkwardness. The heavy chains on the locker groaned and snapped. The door swung open, vomiting a pile of secret loot right at their feet. Shibuya froze. Her eyes went wide. She picked up a long black wig. Akiba screamed internally. She saw the matching uniform. Then, the limited edition Rose Maiden merch. Akiba started sweating bullets. He stuttered through a useless defense. The evidence was damning. She found his student ID buried in the stash. She held it up like a detective. She asked if he was the famous Maria cosplayer. The room went silent. She touched her face, processing the data. She wasn't grossed out, she was hyped. She called the reveal absolutely peak.